Christina, if I don't know you, but most of you are friends and family, so thanks for joining. I wanted to offer a fundamental flow class since we are all kind of, settling into our new normal and trying to stay active, hopefully with some in-home workouts. I wanted to offer a class that was a more fundamental class, not necessarily easy, but a little bit more simple. There's a lot of new practitioners in the yoga practice because we're kind of being forced to get outside of our comfort zone, maybe outside the gym and onto our mats. So I want to offer a class that breaks it down, moves a little bit more slowly, and allows you to feel fulfilled within your practice and also practice safely. So again, simple, not necessarily easy, but follow along. You're welcome to pause this video at any time, and if you have questions, definitely reach out to me. But hopefully this allows you to access your yoga practice, whether you're a new practitioner or been practicing for a long time. I hope this helps. So we'll get started today lying on our backs. Again, everything I say is a suggestion. So if you have some past injury or something hurts or doesn't feel good, listen to your body. That's really the most important part of the practice, is to listen to your body and honor what it's asking for. But we will get started today lying on our backs, dog included. So we'll lie on our backs. You can bring the soles of the feet to touch and just let the knees fall out wide. If this is really intense and you're like, oh my gosh, this isn't comfortable, I'm not good here, you can just let the legs go out wide. But soles of the feet touch, knees wide, relax. Let's take our left hand over our heart and our right hand just drapes over our belly. So we'll start just with a little breathing exercise just to allow us to kind of settle in to your space. So we'll just take a 4 count in. So your inhale, we'll go 4, 3, 2, 1. Little pause at the top, kind of explore that space where nothing is happening, you're in complete still. And then exhale, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale, 2, 3, 4. Little pause at the top. And exhale just as slow and even, 2, 3, 4. I'll kind of guide you, 2, 3, 4, pause at the top, and exhale, 2, 3, 4. Let's do that again. Inhale, little pause, and exhale. So for the remainder of the practice, if you did that with an open mouth, that's fine. But for the remainder of the practice, we'll breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, unless I call an audible sign. But in through the nose and out through the nose. So an even, fluid, steady breath. And now on your next inhale, reach your arms long behind you and point your toes strong in front. And we'll start just by circling the wrists and the ankles. So like you're drawing circles with your toes and you're drawing circles with your fingertips. Really simple, don't overthink it, no big deal. And then on your exhale breath, hug your knees into your chest, just a little squeeze here. And then maybe make some circles with the knees, just like you're drawing circles on the ceiling or wherever you are with the knees. So kind of a dual purpose here. We're massaging the lower spine on the mat, the sacrum, the dishy part of your back. You're kind of massaging into places that can be a little tight or tender. And we're also starting to awaken the core. So you won't even know it, but you actually are starting to work your tummy muscles here. And then on your exhale breath, Knees will fall to the right, and you'll gaze to the left. A really simple twist. I don't want you to force anything here. But I'll go through a couple little points just so you can find little checkpoints. I'll cactus my left arm, so just bending my left elbow, making a little L shape with my forearm and my top arm. And my knees will fall over to the right. My gaze follows the left. And I try to get my left side rib cage as close to the mat as possible, but not forcing anything. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Come through center, just hug your knees in for a little sec. And then exhale, take them over to the left as you gaze over to the right. So I'm cactusing my right arm now. Little L shape, gazing towards the right side of my mat, letting the knees just fall. So my right side shoulder blade and my right side rib cage, I'm just attempting to keep them as close to the mat as possible. No biggie. Deep breath in and exhale. So now I'm going to rock all the way over to my left side. So my left arm, my left bicep becomes my pillow, and my right hand just comes in front of my heart. Now I'll press up to a seat here. So coming into a comfortable seat, whether maybe it's just like a little Sukhasana, sometimes sitting on your knees is more comfortable, or sitting on your heels rather. Be careful if this hurts your knees, you don't need to force that. So just finding a little space. I'm gonna stay on my shins, I think. Just finding a space where you can be a little comfortable, just an easy seat. And if you wanna prop yourself up against a wall or a piece of furniture, that's totally cool. We'll take right arm up high, right fingertips will grab left ear, and just take a little stretch, neck stretch. So my right ear comes down towards my right shoulder. And sometimes it helps to make little circles here with my left hand. And just notice where you feel tight, where you feel maybe a little bit more tension or tender. And just be there. And release. Let's do the other side. So left arm reaches high, left fingertips grab right ear, and take it over to the left. So left ear, left shoulder, and then little circles with my right hand to kind of open up into spaces that feel a little bit, that just need a little bit more attention and love. And now I'm going to interlace my fingers so they're behind my head, elbows in towards one another, chin into chest. I'm going to push my hands into my head and my head back into my hands so I get a nice stretch through the back side of my neck. And I like to tilt my chin kind of side to side, again, exploring the places that just need a little bit more love. And now inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, we'll take the hands to the mat for tabletop pose. Move dog if needed. So tabletop pose. So here I'll start to I won't get too crazy into it, I'll try not to. But we'll start to go over just some basic fundamentals that you'll carry throughout your class, throughout your practice. So looking down at the hands, this is super important. Looking down at the hands, my index fingers are pointing directly forward, so they're making the number 11. So that means there's a slight turnout of my hands. I'm pressing evenly through the palms and I'm spreading my fingers really wide. Why? Because that creates a really strong and stable foundation. Now look, if I'm dumping into my shoulders, you'll see there's kind of like a sway in my back, belly's not engaged, just not doing me any favors here. So I press into my palms. I'm not rounding, but I'm pressing into my palms to create space from chest to mat. And from here, I'm just gonna start moving my spine. We can do, really simple choreographed cats and cows. So inhale, drop belly, gaze goes high. Exhale, round your spine. Now you'll push into your palms, gaze maybe back at your toes. Inhale, arch the spine, gaze up. That's happy cow. Exhale. exhale, round your spine like a cat. Again, inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, round. Inhale. And exhale. Again, inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, round your spine. A little balancing posture here. So inhale, reach your right leg behind. I don't care if you point or flex your toes, but do something with them so they're not just hanging back there, okay? Because when you ignite your feet, when you ignite your toes, then you're igniting your entire leg, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for active muscles. So inhale, reach the right leg back. I'll probably point my toes because that's in my nature. And now maybe a little bit, if this feels good and this feels like enough, cool, be here, this is great. If you want, maybe want to test yourself a little bit, try reaching the left arm forward, all right? So you're gonna have to engage your belly even I'm pretty active here. So left fingertips forward, right toes back. And now on your exhale, can you bring your elbow to touch your knee and round your spine? It's not easy. It's not easy, but it's simple. Inhale, reach it back up so everything's reaching. Left fingertips are reaching forward, right toes are reaching back, and then exhale, set it down, no big deal, right back to tabletop pose. Now let's try the other side. So left leg reaches behind. Again, I don't care if the foot is flexed or pointed, but do something with it, all right? So active, and then notice too, my hips not opening, I'm trying to stay really square with my hips, right? So this left hip point is kind of tilting down a little bit. Don't get too worried about that. So if this feels good, fantastic, stay here. If you're like, I want a little bit more, reach your right fingertips forward, okay? And engage the belly button in towards spine, that's gonna help your balance. Exhale, maybe you bring your knee to your elbow and round your spine. Push into your left palm here, and then inhale, reach it back up high, and exhale down to the mat, tabletop pose. Let's do that one more time each side. So on my inhale breath, I'll reach my right leg behind, maybe reach my left fingertips forward. Exhale, maybe knee to nose. If not, just stay there with the leg lifted. Inhale, reach it high. Exhale, tabletop pose. Other side. Left leg goes behind, right fingertips reach forward. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tabletop pose. If you're moving and maybe creating your own practice, you could go through that a number of times, but for time's sake, we'll leave it at that. So again, pushing into my palms, this is kind of weird, but you want to create little caves in your armpits, right? I know that sounds super weird, but you'll know it when you feel it. Now I'm going to curl my toes and really slowly start to straighten my legs, lifting my hips to downward facing dog. So feet are about hips distance apart. There's this yoga myth that your heels have to touch the mat, and that's not true. You want to be heavy in your heels, so like they're reaching towards the mat, but mine aren't touching, and that's fine. And if I had a really short down dog, maybe they would, but it's no big deal. Heavy through my heels, so they're reaching through the mat. And then look at your hands. Look at your hands right now. So your index fingers should be pointing directly forward. Lots of space between the fingers. I'm spreading my fingers and I'm pressing down through my palms. My hands are slightly turned out and I'm making caves with my armpits. I'm pushing my chest back towards my thighs and just relaxing through the back of the neck. My legs stay as straight as possible, but don't freak out if they're not perfectly straight. And just to settle into my downward facing dog, I like to pedal, bend one knee at a time, settle in. All right, now step your feet wide about the width of your mat. And bend your knees, walk your hands back towards your feet. Keep a nice gentle bend in the knees and grab your elbows. Here, I just like to sway, kind of follow the natural rhythm of my body, where it wants to go, and really check in with the back of the neck. Maybe shake your head yes and no to make sure you're not holding any unneeded stress back there. And just sway. Imagine like you have a couple weights on each elbow, so you're really heavy in the torso. It kind of feels good. If your knees are still bent here, that's fine. And now releasing the elbows, bend into the knees and tuck your chin into your chest. We're gonna really slowly come all the way up to stand. Imagine you have weights in your hands. So you have to pull and you go really slow. I will say it does help sometimes to have a mirror in front of you if you have that accessible to you, because you can see things differently, but if not, no big deal. And now once we get up to stand, head will be the last thing that arrives. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead, palms touch at the top. Exhale, take it over to the right for a big side body stretch. Biggest thing here is do not cover your beautiful face with your left bicep. Lean back into it. Maybe bring the gaze high and slide the left shoulder down away from your ear. So just because I'm reaching doesn't mean I'm crunching and covering. I'm staying open. Inhale, reach up tall. Exhale, take it over to the left. So now right fingertips reach, but I slide my right shoulder down and away. Taking it over, and again, don't cover your pretty face. Lean back, stay open. Inhale, come on up, palms will touch. Exhale, reach around behind, interlace the fingers and make a bind. So that's gonna look like this, okay? So my hands and my fingers are interlaced. I'm sliding my knuckles down towards the mat and I'm opening into my chest. I like to kind of rock side to side a little bit here, opening into the shoulders, opening into the chest. And now bend your knees. And this might feel tricky if you have funky shoulders or a neck or something. Don't force anything, all right? Don't hurt yourself. All right, bend your knees, maintain the bind, and fold all the way over. So if you notice, my knuckles are definitely off my hips, and my palms are pressing into one another. So try that. It might look different, okay? Every body is different. So maybe it's more like this, and that's fine. Just make sure you're not just resting your knuckles on your back. And make sure, move the head around, open the mouth and move the jaw. Ooh, we hold a lot of stuff in our jaw, so make sure you release that. And now release the grip. So my hands are just down, just gently, and bend your knees as much as you need. Just down maybe in front of your nose, right? So now I'm gonna plant my left hand and reach my right arm high and take a twist. It might feel good to keep both knees bent. It might feel good to straighten one of them. Listen to your body. Right now my body's asking me to keep my left knee bent and my right arm high. And still rolling my left shoulder down and away from my ear. And if you're in your twist, here I am in my twist, right? And I'm like, oh, this is okay. What happens when I bring my gaze up to my right fingertips? Oh my gosh, I just got like 2 more inches into my twist. So that's fantastic. So do that, gaze up high. Exhale, release. Now let's take the other side. Right hand plants, left arm reaches high. And listen to your body. Where does it want both knees bent? Does it want one knee bent? Mine says bend right knee, please. Very kindly. And then roll my right shoulder back and my left arm reaches. Here I am in my twist. It's all right, no biggie. But then I gaze up high. Look, I just got like so much more room. One more deep breath here. Inhale. Exhale, both hands to the mat. And now I'm going to crawl forward into plank, top of push-up pose. So this, depending on your ability or strength or injury, this could be really challenging or this could feel really good and strengthening. Most important thing right here is look at your hands. Don't do funny things. Don't lift your palms. Don't turn your hands in. Don't do funny things with your hands, okay? So just keep your index fingers directly forward, lots of space between your fingers, and press between your palm into your palms. I want you to imagine that my hand is just between your shoulder blades. So like right here, okay? So imagine my hand between your shoulder blades and push my hand towards the sky, okay? What does that feel like? That's gonna engage and almost create those caves in our armpits. Okay, so I'm gonna lower now. I'm gonna give you a couple options to lower. So If this is like your first time practicing or whatever, then take it down to your knees and slowly lower. I want you to think the chest will lower before the belly and keep the elbows in. So a normal like pedestrian push-up would look like that, I think. I don't do that. But a yogi push-up will look more like this. So I'm hugging the elbows in towards my ribs. I'm not gonna get too crazy about it, but I'm gonna hug my elbows in towards my ribs. So I'll show you what that looks like. I'm taking a little inhale here. On my exhale, lower to my knees, and really slowly think chest first, all the way down. Now you have another option here too. Up here, maybe you take your full vinyasa. So you don't lower to your knees, and you hug, but you do the same thing. Elbows hug in, lower slow. There you go. Now take the feet out wide so you can feel the big toes kind of graze the edges of your mat. Slide your hands back slightly and we'll press up for cobra pose. So cobra, so maybe your elbows stay bent here and that's fine. I would rather see your elbows bent and your shoulders down rather than straight and shoulders in your ears, okay? So take some time here, maybe rock side to side, maybe move the neck a little. Okay, and now the integrity. So find some integrity here. See how my shoulders, I'm just dumping. I'm not being very smart here. So roll my shoulders down and away, chest goes high, maybe chin slightly lifts. And now I'm gonna curl my toes and send it back to downward facing dog. Take your time, go slow. If your knees bend, that's fine, no biggie. Straighten right into them, find your downward facing dog. Check in with your hands. Are they doing funny things? No? Good. All right, here we are in our downward facing dog. Bend your knees and take a walk. So bring your hands up towards your feet. So you're gonna walk up to the front of your mat. Feet about hips distance apart. On your inhale, fingertips to shins, take a half lift. So a half lift is gonna look like this. Fingertips to shins, and I'm gonna extend my spine. And if your legs straight, fantastic. If not, don't get down on yourself. But the crown of my head is gonna reach forward. I'm not doing funny things. I'm not lifting my chin. I'm not stressing the back of my neck. No, I'm just going inhale, half lift. It's just like a wave breath. Exhale, fold. And now maybe bend your knees, hug your calves, let your head release. And now I'm gonna come all the way up to stand. So maybe you can keep the knees bent, plant into the feet. Inhale, arms reach out wide. Exhale, palms touch at the top, or inhale, palms touch at the top. Exhale, hands to heart, and just pause. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, take a side body stretch over to the right, reach. Inhale, reach up tall. Exhale, take it to the left. Those same cues apply that we cued in the beginning. Inhale, reach up. And now exhale, bend your knees. Thumbs will come just between the eyebrows as you fold all the way down. Again, we'll find our half lift. So inhale, hands to shins, straighten the spine. And now, bend your knees, plant your hands, step your right foot back, step your left foot back, plank pose. Now we'll lower slowly, so if you want to come to your knees, do that. Or stay up. Lower slow, you can lower all the way down to your chest. In belly, inhale up for cobra pose, and exhales down dog. All right, here we are in down dog. Let's move through that again. So bend your knees, take a walk, bring your hands up, or your feet up towards your hands, towards the front of your mat. Feet about hips distance apart. Inhale, fingertips to shins or maybe to your knees as you reach the crown of the head forward. Exhale, fold, hug your thighs. And now root down through your feet as you rise up to stand. Arms reach up and overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hands at heart. Inhale, reach them right back up high, palms touch at the top. Exhale, take it over to the right, side body stretch. This is like little choreography, right? Inhale, reach up, and exhale, take it to the left. Inhale, reach up, palms touch. Exhale, bend the knees. Thumbs come just between the eyebrows as you fold. Inhale, half lift, fingertips to shins, straight spine. And now bend your knees as much as you need. Plant your hands. Step your right foot back. Step your left foot back. Lower slow. Inhales up, cobra. Exhales, downward facing dog. Good. So that was a sun A, a sun salutation A variation. Sun A variation. Honestly, if that's all you do and you maybe just spend 5-6 minutes every morning doing that, you will notice a significant difference in your day. I promise. I'll sign my name on that. All right, let's go moving into our sun B. So we'll take just a little warm up first. So here we are, and if this is uncomfortable, maybe you just watch and do your own kind of version of it. But on an inhale, I'm gonna reach my right leg high, bend my knee, and make some circles with my knee, right? Just opening into the hip. And if this is uncomfortable, again, that's fine. Just, maybe just lift the leg, see what that feels like, press into the palms. And if you notice, now my left heel is touching the mat. That's kind of important. So just move, find some fluidity, and pin through the hip joint. And then exhale, set it down, downward facing dog. No big deal, right? Inhale, reach the left leg high. Do the same thing. Bend the knee, move it around. And then lower, downward facing dog. I'm just gonna come to my knees now. So here I am in just a kneeling posture towards the back of my mat so I have some space. I'm gonna step forward with my right foot. Okay, a little bit more than just, so this would be square. I'm gonna step it just a little bit longer, but this depends on your body. You want to be at the front of your kneecap, not on the back, and if this is uncomfortable for your knees, then don't do it. Bring your hands to your right thigh and let your hips kind of melt. Biggest thing, knee stays over heel. Don't do anything funky like that. Bad guy. And this, no good, you're not getting anywhere. So make sure your knee stays directly over your heel and wrap your right hip back slightly so your hips will stay square. So not like, don't do that. That's funny, that's not comfortable. And then, so hands to thigh, stay wrapping my right hip back. Belly button is into spine. And now I'll reach my arms up high. Shoulders stay down though. Just because my fingertips reach, don't let your shoulders go with you. Reach up. And now, half splits. If you have blocks or something that might act as blocks, this could help. Otherwise, maybe you stay on the fingertips, depending on your hamstring flexibility. And if it's not, crazy, don't worry about it. So maybe you're just here on your fingertips. Active with the toes though, that's gonna be important. So keep the toes wrapping back towards your nose, and then maybe just relax over your thigh. Depends on where your body is, and don't get down on yourself. Don't tell yourself stories or excuses or whatever. It is what it is. And that's it. That's our sun B. So just step your right knee back to meet your left. You can sit back, maybe take a breath. We'll go right into the other side. So here I am on my knees. I'll step forward with my left foot now. And make sure I'm not doing funny things like that. That doesn't look right. I got my knee over my toes. That's not proper. So I got my knee over my heel. My belly button's in towards my spine. And I'm wrapping my left hip back. Reach the arms up high. And don't do funny things with the back foot too. People want to do some interesting stuff back there. No. So you got the top of the foot down. You're not curling your toes or anything. And then reach up tall with the fingers. Exhale, maybe take half splits here. If you have like a couple books, I'm like looking for you have like maybe a couple books that can help, pillows, really anything can work. But maybe you just stay on your fingertips and relax over the thigh. Maybe stay active with the front toes and fold. All right, that's it for our Sun B, no big deal, right? So if you want, you could flow through that, one breath, one movement. For timing's sake, we won't, not today, but really simple, and it's good. Hanging out in half splits is pretty important. Okay, so now we're here in our camel pose. Let's just go ahead and find our downward facing dog. Hands to the mat, curl the toes, lift the hips, straighten the legs, and I'm gonna bend my knees and walk my hands back towards my feet. So now I'm at the back of my mat, and we'll just keep feet underneath hips for now. So feet underneath hips, back of mat, shoulders down, belly button into spine. I'm gonna step forward with my right foot into warrior A. I'm gonna try and keep this as simple as possible. I get a little excited sometimes, but I'm just gonna step forward with my right foot. So, a fair amount of distance. And I've got my front knee is bent, my knee is over my heel. And I was facing you guys. But what I'm gonna do is wrap my right hip back. My back foot is turned in slightly, but I'm rounding down through the back edge of my back foot. So I'm not rolling in, I'm not bending this knee, I'm not doing anything funky back there. Back leg is straight, but I am actively wrapping my right hip back, arms reach up and overhead. Here's warrior A. You want your feet, so I'm gonna try and do this to help you. This would be a tightrope, right? So my heel is aligned with my heel. I prefer train tracks. So feet are really just under, about hips distance apart, if that makes sense. I hope you can see that. So in my warrior A, I like a little bit more length and width, so I can really wrap my right hip back, reach up. So now, my legs are gonna stay the exact same. Nothing will change on the bottom half of my body. I'm gonna inhale, reach a little tall, and exhale, sweep my hands behind as I hover over my front thigh. This is intense, this is no joke. So stay wrapping your right hip back. Palms face the mat, and pinkies are in towards one another. That's important. Palms face the mat, pinkies squeeze in towards one another. Arms are straight. And also notice what I'm doing with my neck and head. I'm not doing funny things. There's no extra tension in my shoulders. There's no need for that. Inhale, come right back up to your warrior A, and actually just straighten the front leg, little release. Exhale, I'm gonna open up to warrior B. If this is getting too much for you, just enjoy the show, whatever. Relax. So I'm gonna bend back into my front knee, but my hips are gonna essentially face the left side of my mat. If you notice, I took a little bit wider or a longer stance, and now my heels are matching up towards one another. So now I'm more on a tightrope rather than train tracks. Got a deep bend in my front knee, but notice my knee is over my heel. Back leg is straight, and I'm grounding down through the back edge. Arms reach out wide. Warrior B. Belly button into spine, super important. Shoulders down. Reach the arms out. Let's reverse this. So legs stay the exact same. Reach the right arm up and overhead. Left hand can just reach down. Be here. So no funny things. I'm staying open. And maybe bring my gaze up to the sky. Reach the right fingertips. Keep the bend in the front knee. Be here. And that's it. Let's just step it back towards the back of the mat. That's it. So just kind of some fundamentals, right? And you will notice this. You'll feel good. You might be a little sore tomorrow, but you are, after this, especially if this is like your first time, you're gonna feel good. All right, let's go into the other side. So right here I am at the back of my mat. I'm just gonna step, feet are underneath my hips. I'm gonna step forward with my left foot now for warrior A. So I'm gonna remember that it's train tracks for warrior A, not tightrope. My back foot's gonna turn in slightly, and I'm gonna wrap my left hip back. Big bend in my front knee, but I'm gonna make sure, if I'm looking down and my knee is over my toes rather than my heel, I know that I need to step that foot forward a little bit. There, so that makes the knee over heel accessible. Keep the back leg straight, reach the arms up high. Warrior A. Settle in here. So you want square hips. That's going to be the big difference between Warrior A and Warrior B. Warrior A, my hips are facing directly forward. And now we're going to do our little sweepy bowie motion. So legs stay the exact same. Reach up with the fingertips, and then exhale, sweep the hands behind and hover over your front thigh. Again, palms face the mat, pinkies in towards one another. Don't do funny things with your head and neck, but be here. And come right up to our Warrior A space, but straighten the front knee. So this doesn't necessarily have a name, but it's just a nice little transition pose before I open up into Warrior B. So this is a different view. So now my left heel is aligned with my right. Big bend in my left knee, but make sure the knee is over the heel. Let's see, here's something that could happen. You have too short of a stance, and so your knee goes over your toes. Step up a little bit, and then rebend, and then reach the arms out wide. Back leg is straight. Don't do funny things back here, okay? So, and make sure you're grounded down so you're pressing through the back edge of your back foot. And then reach the arms out wide. Belly button into spine, that's most important. And now we'll take reverse warrior. So my legs stay the exact same. Nothing's gonna change on the bottom half of my body. I'm gonna reach up and back with my left hand to take reverse warrior. Hands will right hand can slide down. Right knee, thigh. Reach, so you should feel a really nice deep side body stretch through the left. And release. That's it, that's all we'll do for today. If we like this, I'll do another one and we can actually move through a flow, but this just kind of breaks down some of the fundamentals to make sure that you're practicing safely. Not it for class, but that's it for Sun-C. So I want to help you guys cue tree pose. So if you have something, maybe a person or a piece of furniture to help you balance, use that if it's your first time or whatever. But I'm going to start, and I'll face directly towards you if that helps. So I'll take just a little space between my feet, maybe about hips distance. And right now I've got my weight evenly distributed through both feet. I'm going to shift my weight into my right foot. I'm going to do it improperly first so you can see. So if I was to kind of shift my weight kind of lazily and dump, you'd see it, right? You'd see that I'm kind of dumping into this hip, like, okay, yeah, I got, like, if I was just standing, like, okay, yeah, I got my weight in my right foot, yeah, no biggie, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for more of an energetic shift. So you might not even see this, but now my weight is all in my right foot, right? But I'm staying lifted through my hip and through my side body. I'm not dumping, I'm not being lazy. So to start, maybe you just pop the left foot and bring the ball of the foot to your arch. So the ball of the left foot matches up to your right arch. Maybe that's it. Hands up heart. That's cool. That's fine. That's big, actually. And now, and maybe you're like, oh, I want a little bit more. I'm gonna stay lifted through this right side. If you start to dump, it's all over, okay? So stay lifted through the right side and maybe start to crawl the toes up. Maybe you get to your shin and you're like, okay, this is good. And if you notice wobbles, experience the wobbles. Those are interesting. You can kind of find where you're leaning. If I'm falling back, I need to bring my weight forward slightly. Belly button into spine will pretty much cure all. All right. And now maybe you got your foot at shin and you're like, I want to try a little bit more. Okay, and maybe you help yourself a little. And if you got holding like onto a ledge of sorts, use it. Maybe you grab your ankle and you bring your foot up into your thigh, and that's great. This is, that's fantastic. Kind of helps to think that I'm pushing my left foot into my thigh, but my thigh is pushing right back into my foot. So there's strength and resistance, and it's active. So maybe you're here, maybe you're here, and your belly button's into your spine, and you're grounding down through the four corners of your right foot, and that's awesome. And that's it, release. Let's try the other side, and I won't get too verbose here. So feet about hips distance apart. I'm gonna energetically shift my weight into my left foot. You might not even see it, right? You might not even notice the shift. Cool. And then I'm gonna bend my right knee, bring the ball of my right foot into my left arch. Maybe that's it. Fantastic. Now maybe you're like, yeah, I want a little bit more. I want to try this whole balance thing. Maybe you grab onto a ledge and you start to crawl the toes up. Maybe it stops at your shin. That's fantastic. Maybe this is your variation of tree pose. But if you notice, I'm not dumping into this left hip. I'm staying lifted, right? Maybe that's going well. Grab your ankle and maybe help yourself all the way up to a full tree. But I'm pushing the fleshy part of my left thigh into my right foot. My right foot's pushing right back in. Belly button into spine, maybe hands at heart, maybe hand to a ledge. Fantastic. And when you wobble, notice where you wobble and how you can counteract that. And belly button into spine will fix it, I promise. And release. Fantastic. So that usually my class moves from sun A to sun B to sun C into a standing balancing sequence or pose, and then we'll go back into our stretches for sequence. So let's take the feet out wide, about the width of your mat. Inhale, reach up tall. Exhale, bend your knees, fold all the way down. And now just simply sit on your booty. We'll take some floor stretches. So extend your right leg out and bend your left knee. So there's a couple, I'll show a couple variations of this stretch. If you're looking for more of a hamstring stretch, you're looking for the back side of your upper thigh, we'll take it this way. So reach your arms up tall and square your rib cage off. So my rib cage squares off evenly over my toes. So look, if there was one line, it would go like that. Reach up tall, and then exhale, fold over your front thigh. Maybe this is it, okay? And that's fun. Seriously, don't get down on yourself. There's no one, maybe there is, but there's no one watching you. It's not a big deal. You go all the way down, fantastic. Okay, cool, whatever. No, not whatever. Be here. I think more important to maybe hit less poses with more integrity and more time and more breath than hitting a bunch of poses and really not settling into them. So really be here and settle in here. And come on up. So my legs stay the exact same, but this is it's a totally different stretch. So I'm gonna kind of shift my hips to face more like a left side diagonal. Reach my left arm up and take it over. Reach for my toes. So this is now a big side body stretch. Notice how I already kind of wanted to cover my face. Don't do that. Reach up and look up. And come on up. And let's just switch that out. So now I'll bend my right knee, left leg goes straight. I'm gonna take this as a hamstring stretch at first. So reach up tall, square your rib cage over your knee and big toes, and then fold, big toe. And one side might feel different than the other, and that's fine. It's actually very normal. So don't freak out. So come on up, and now we'll turn this into a side body stretch. So I'm gonna turn my body to face the right side diagonal, and I'm gonna reach my right arm high and take it over, so I'm reaching for my left toes. Right fingertips reach for left toes, and then notice what my biceps doing. Up, roll it back. So as much as my right fingertips reach forward, my right shoulder slides down and away. So there's lots of space between my shoulder and my ear. And come on up. So all these stretches are kind of based on your own physical ability and what feels nice for you. So let's start with like straight but let's take a shallow V. So we'll go from less intense and move our way up to more intense stretches. So I've got my heels at the edges of my mat, so it's just a shallow V stretch. Reach up tall with the hands, and then exhale, fold over. So maybe this is it, maybe it's more, wherever you are, be here. And see if you can come back to those breaths we created in the beginning of class where it's a 4 count in, a little pause at the top, and then exhale, 4 count. And then notice as you bring your focus more to your breath, how maybe you're feeling that you get a little bit more depth in the stretch. So come on up, we'll go into our hip openers. So for the purpose of this class, we'll take a figure 4 stretch. So lie down onto your back. I'll go side view, I think maybe that might be helpful. So bend your knees, bring your feet flat, and then just cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh and let your right knee fall out. This could be enough for you. So you'll really have to listen to your body here. Hips are very different for everybody, So listen and honor that. So if you need a little bit more, maybe you lift that right or the left foot and maybe grab the back of the left thigh. Maybe you straighten the leg, maybe you reach it up. But all the while, keep the right knee falling out. So you should feel this deep through the right IT band and into the right hip. And really simply, I'm just going to switch. So both knees bend, feet are flat, and then I'm going to cross my left ankle over my right thigh, just at the top of my right thigh, and let my left thigh fall out to the side. Maybe this is enough for you, and this is good. Otherwise, maybe you grab the back of the thigh, straighten the leg, bring it into your chest. So I'm bringing my heel towards my face and pushing my knee away. Not pushing, but letting it fall away. The landscapers here, we might have some issues, but I was just noticing doggy. Okay, so now let's go into just a couple rounds of back bends. Back bends are super important. I like to think of them more as a front body stretch or a heart opener rather than a big back bend. But they give us energy. They kind of are like a little natural shot of caffeine. So it's nice to do these in the morning, and you'll feel a difference throughout your day. But here we go. So feet are planted flat. Knees are bent. Feet are about hips distance apart. And I want you to imagine like you have a block or maybe a book or something between your thighs, and you're keeping a hold of that. So your knees aren't going like this. They aren't doing funny things. You're holding onto that book pretty steadily. Now, belly button to spine. So I'm activating my core. Belly button to spine. Spine to mat, so I feel the lower part of my back on the mat, solid, and then I lift my hips. I'm still keeping my knees reaching towards each other, but they're not touching. It's not like that. I'm holding a block between my thighs, or between my knees. And so you can keep your hands just at your side, palms down on the mat. If that feels good and you're like, I want a little bit more. Maybe you reach your hands towards one another and interlace your fingers and push your hips a little higher. but be here for a few breaths. Maybe promise yourself one more breath. So when you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore, I'm gonna lower, breathe one more time. And then lower. When you do lower, hug your knees into your chest, give yourself a little hug, a little counter stretch to open back up into your vertebrae. And then we'll go one more round. So feet flat, knees bent, like I'm holding a block between my knees, hands at the sides, belly button to spine, spine to mat, lift the hips. That feels good? Okay, maybe I'll go for the bind. Interlace the fingers underneath. Don't do funny things. People can get funny, I think, with their necks here, so make sure you're not like cranking anything. And release. So we're gonna take another lying twist. This is kind of, it's a cool place to kind of assess the shift that you created through class. So lie down onto your backs, knees into your chest, and then just let the knees fall over to the right as you gaze left. Same thing, very same thing at the beginning of class. I like to do this just because I'm like, oh wow, this feels a lot softer. I can get a little bit deeper. That's cool, that means it worked. The yoga did its job. And if not, don't worry about it. That's fine too. It's a practice. It's not an end goal. Come through center, other side, so let the knees fall to the left as your gaze goes right. Notice what feels softer, feels maybe more tender, that's fine. And that's our practice, so I'll guide you just through a relatively brief Shavasana, but let the legs just kind of fall out to the sides, feet just flop open, hands out at the sides, palms face up. And let's take a deep breath together. So we'll go in through the nose, out through the mouth, so you can make some noise, like a little sigh. You can close your eyes. Inhale. Exhale. Ah. So here, just allow yourself to fully soften. So there's no guided breath. Your breath just rises and falls naturally. There's nothing else to hold. There's nothing to strive for. There's no work to be done. You're just simply being. And if you could imagine like the edges of your body, so maybe the heels and the hips and the shoulders, you can imagine kind of softening those edges a little bit. So everything just melts a little bit heavier into the mat. You don't have to support it. The mat has you. Your practice has you. So as a general rule, like if you are creating your own home practice, I usually give myself a minimum 5-minute Shavasana. It really is the most important pose of the practice, to just be and breathe and settle. But for the sake of this video, we will go ahead, bend your knees, hug them into your chest, and rock all the way over to your left side. So my left bicep becomes a pillow, right hand comes just in front of your heart. And then press your way up to a seat. Whether it's on your knees or just an easy Sukhasana. And we'll just bring our hands to heart and just bow your chin in gratitude. So thank you for joining me in this practice, and thank yourself for showing up and taking this time for you, for your body, for your soul, for your heart, for your mind. Namaste. So hopefully this helped and broke a couple things down and allowed you to kind of understand just the basics and the proper alignment. If you like this, let me know and I will do more of them. It's so wonderful to connect to you guys, and I miss you and love you.